Climate change is the most important issue, really, because it affects all of us. But we can't afford to wait 10 years or 20 years, because children and grandchildren, they may not be able to live on the planet. It's that serious. Educating people to understand what climate change is about, that it is happening and that it is unique to this generation. That this has never happened before. Carbon dioxide accelerating at the rate it's accelerating. It's orders and orders of magnitude faster than it's ever happened before in the history of the Earth. Hi, I'm Alan Godber. I'm 80 years old and I'm from the big city of Nottingham, England, which is 500 years old. As a child we didn't have a lot of facilities because we didn't have a car. Not many people had cars in those days. I think it was about 5. My parents and I was the only child, used to ride around the countryside on a Saturday afternoon on bicycles. So we got to explore a lot. We got to learn a lot about nature. So I was involved in the Lawrence Brook Watershed Partnership since we founded it. There were a group of maybe half a dozen of us that started it. And I'm the vice president. New Brunswick Water Utility has responsibility for the water, but they have 2 staff who are responsible for it, 2, for the whole 46 square miles. So it's clear they can't manage it on their own. In this watershed we have a lot of flooding caused by large amounts of development over the past 30, 40, 50 years. The landscape has changed in the watershed because a lot more people living around the area, and people weren't aware of it. Nobody was doing anything about it. So those kind of things need constant attention. So that's why you need a watershed organisation that cares about all these things to come together and to bring people in from all various places around and participate. People like to take out dams these days when they're not needed, because dams were put in for various reasons, but if it's there for a water supply, you have to have those, because if we didn't, when there was a drought, as there has been in the last year or so, there wouldn't be any drinking water to take out in New Brunswick, and that would be a very serious problem, because then we wouldn't have any drinking water. So here we are at Farrington Lake Dam, and the water's flowing very strongly today after the rainstorm we had yesterday. And one of the things we were asking about here is what these devices are. And these are what's called sluice gates or sluice controls. So underneath here is another way for the water to flow out. And that's used when there isn't enough water flowing over the top. So if it gets to the point there's no water flowing over the dam, they may need to have water still going downstream. So then you turn these, open the sluice gates, and water flows out through a pipe at the bottom of the dam. But we need to get more younger people involved, and that's why I'm very happy to have 2 24 and 26-year-olds involved right now on our board. So hopefully we can get a lot more done with their help and get more people their age involved.
As a young person, I look up to him in that sense, because he's very selfless, really diligent, and it's easy to be apathetic, but instead, you know, he'll put the hours in and read up on a topic and go to meetings all over the state.
I think everybody should know something about nature, because it's all around us. It's our lifeblood. We've spent so much time over hundreds of years damaging nature, unfortunately, without sometimes realizing what we were doing. I think it's very important for the next generations to understand enough about the natural environment around us that they can help make sure that it's stable, make sure that we can live in a world which is reliable, that's not going to be deteriorating as it has been in the past. But that's the kind of thing that one needs to explain to the younger generation, that you can have a large impact in your area by interaction that you have with all the local communities, with the elected official. And the younger generation definitely needs to understand that enough that they can say and demand that the elected representatives and so on continue to make the land viable so that it's okay for their generation and the next generations to come. If you don't do that, we've got no future.